Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I will show you how to make borders for your granny squares. Especially after you join them for a blanket, it can be really nice to add a border. All of my borders always start with a foundation border. So I have an example here. So this one is made without a foundation border. I just added a round of slip stitches to it. As you can see, it looks okay, I guess, on the front. The sides are not very pretty, and the back is really not pretty. Um, Compare this to this other one that I made. I always also ended up with a round of slip stitches, but before I made the slip stitches, I created a foundation border round of single crochets all the way around. So I will start by showing you how to do round, this foundation round of single crochets, and after that I will show you how you can make some really nice borders just using simple stitches. So for the purpose of showing you how to do a foundation border, I have joined two granny squares, so let's pretend that they're now a blanket. And I've joined them because I want to show you how you do your foundation border over on top of your joining. But let's get started. So normally I would go in a corner or in a chain space, and I would, wrap the yarn around and attach it with a knot. But because we're doing single crochets, I just created a slip knot and I'm just gonna insert that. You can start in the corners if you want to, especially if you're changing colors after your foundation border. But I like to continue with the same color, so I'm just gonna start in my first chain space here. What you're going to do is you're gonna go in, grab the yarn, pull it up so you have two chains on your hook, and you're just going to pull the yarn through both of them. So now we have our first single crochet. In the next, you have next to the chain space, you have your 3 double crochets, and you just go in the top of that double crochet, and you create a single crochet. So like that, and that goes for all 3 double crochets. So 2 and 3. So far it looks like this, and then you have a chain space, and in your chain space you're going to go in and you're going to create 1 single crochet, and you're just going to continue along the way, just like, there's nothing special about this. The only thing where it can get a little tricky, or where you need to consider what to do, is the corner. So let's get down to the corner and start working on that. When it comes to color, borders are where you can have a lot of fun with your colors. So you can, like, I continued this project in a pastel color. You can also go ahead and do a neutral color, a white maybe, or cream. Or you can also have a lot of fun and just go all in and do contrast colors to make the border really stand out. Or maybe you have a certain pattern in your granny square that you want to continue. So now we are at the corner. I have chained 3 in my corners. Maybe you only have 2, depending on how you're creating your granny square. Since I have 3 chains, I will do 3 single crochets around this chain corner. So let's do 3. And maybe depending on your tightness when you crochet, you only need to do 2, or maybe you even need to make 4. That is really, very individual on how you crochet. I have a fairly loose tension, and I know that the number of chains I have will mostly correspond to the number of single crochets I need to put in there. So if I had a corner with only 2 chain spaces or 2 chains, I would probably only do 2 single crochets. But this actually looks pretty good. Lay it down flat if you want to have a really good look at it. Just make sure that it's not popping widely up, because if it's doing that, you probably have too few in there. You need to add 1 more. And if it's making like a big wave and being very bubbly, you probably have too many. So just continue along this side, and I'll meet you down here at the joining and show you how we do that. So now we're at the place where the two granny squares are joined, and I can kind of see one chain here and two chains over here. So I think I will go ahead and do one single crochet in the first corner. I'm not doing anything in between the corners, I'm just moving into the next corner, and I'll do 2 single crochets. And again, you can go and test and see if you think that's enough. I'll just continue and do this cluster, and then we can lay it down flat and see what it looks like. It's always a good idea to lay your project down flat to see what it looks like. So I actually think this looks fine. It's not popping up, it's not creating waves. It's kind of just following the height and the tightness of the other ones. So now I'll go ahead and finish this round, and I'll show you how to fasten off or how to get to the next round if you want to build on your border. So now we're almost done with this round. I'm just going to put in 2 single crochets here, and then we're going to find the first single crochet that we made. So it's up here, and just gonna go in and slip stitch. And now you could fasten off if you want to, and just, you know, say this is my border. I just have this foundation border all the way around, and this border of single crochets. And also fasten off if you want to change color, or you can just stay with this color and build another round of border around your project. So I made this test sample where I also did a foundation border, and then I just added a round of double crochets all the way around. And this is a really simple and easy border, but I think it looks really pretty. And if you think this is something that would suit your project, let's go ahead and I'll show you how to do it. It's really easy. You actually just do double crochets in each single crochet. So let's start by chaining 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And of course, if you change your yarn, you need to attach it first. And then you just go in every single crochet that you made in the previous round and do a double crochet. And it's really fast and it's really easy. It does make does create some height to your border. So if you're doing a specific kind of project, you need to consider that. It also takes up quite a lot of yarn to do it, so make sure you have enough. But if you made a blanket and you want it to be, you know, a little bit bigger than it actually is, and you don't want to create more granny squares, so you have already done the amount you were thinking about, then adding a border with a little bit more height to it could actually be a good idea. But that is really up to you. The only thing you need to think about when you do this is your corners. And then remember, this is just a sample. So, you know, the corners are quite a lot of, a huge part of this sample. But if you have made a big, large blanket, just remember that you only have 4 corners and they'll be a pretty small part of your project. So you don't have to worry too much about them. For this pattern or this round of double crochets, for the corners we need to add in a few more stitches to make it a little bit bigger. Let's see, we're almost at the corner, I think. Oh, well, almost. I like to add, well, 2 extras. So in the corner, we did 3 single crochets. So I like to just do 1 in the first single crochet. Then I like to do 3 in the next. So let's see, here we have the corner. So This is the first one, the second one, and the third one. So I like to do 1 double crochet, 3 double crochets, and then 1 double crochet in the last one. You could also go ahead and try and make 2 double crochets, 2 double crochets, and 2 double crochets. Or 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. That is really something you need to test out a little bit to see what works best for you. In my experience and with my tension, it works best if I do 1 double crochet in the first, and then 3, and then 1. But just, go ahead and test it out. And again, you only have 4 corners, so it's not this kind of thing shouldn't keep you away from doing a nice border on your project. Just again, remember, lay your project down flat when you have done something where you're, a little bit in doubt about how many you're going to do. So this one, it lays down really nicely. It's really flat, and I think for me, the 3 double crochets in the middle are the way to go. And you just continue all the way around, and when you come back, you just fasten off or end up your round by doing a slip stitch in your 3rd chain of the 3 chains that we created. And that is a test, a little sample of a granny square with a foundation border and a round of double crochets around it. That was all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you the next time.